Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm doing another roundup video today because these are probably one of my favorite videos to film, and I thought it was way past overdue because I haven't filmed a podcast in a while. And to be honest, I don't know if there's going to be a podcast episode coming soon just because things have kind of slowed down for me in the knitting on the knitting front for a little bit, like over the past few weeks. I've just been taking things easy. But I mean, we're technically in the fall now, so I'm already thinking about Colorwork knits, especially because this year I haven't done, have I probably have only done one or two colorwork knits this year, and it was like really, really early in the year. I feel like this year just flew by just so incredibly fast, and I was not prepared. Mostly because I've just been so preoccupied with my own designs and stuff. But I like to knit myself a Christmas sweater every year, but in the past years, I haven't really knit anything sort of like festive. I've knit like a red sweater, I've knit a green sweater, but I really like the idea of knitting myself something for Christmas Day. So I'm hoping that maybe one of these could be it, but it doesn't, I mean, it's not, um, I don't know. It may not happen. I may just decide to knit something very simple. I'm also toying with the idea of like a Christmas dress, maybe not even in Christmas colors. But I have 10 patterns here to share with you, which I think could be great just for the holidays or just for the winter season. Whatever the case may be, I was really tempted to add way more patterns here. But maybe before I upload this video, if other patterns speak to me, I'll add it to the bundle. Um, so let's see. Yeah, I do have 10. And I think I've only knit one of these. And then there's a couple that are like really, really high on my list that I've been thinking of for a very long time. Oh, before we get started, I'm wearing my poppy blouse today. I think this is my first time wearing it on the podcast. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this is my poppy blouse. I hope I remember to put the link down below. But this is knit in Knitting for Olive pure silk in pink daisies held double. I think this is my first sort of like hot pink knit, or maybe just my first time using this color from Knitting for Olive. But yeah, it's very very easy to to wear. But I did notice, I think when I blocked it, it shrunk, which is really weird. So lengthwise, I think the sleeves got shorter, which is really strange. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go back. So now it kind of, I don't know. It's just not as long as it's supposed to be. So I think that either has something to do with the yarn, or maybe I just did knit it as long as I thought I did. I don't know. But anyway, I feel like it got way shorter, and I think it's fine the way it is. But I may go back and like take out the I cord and redo that. But anyway, that's my poppy blouse. Okay, this first pattern, I don't remember whose channel I saw this on first, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, that sweater screams Christmas. Just 100% Christmas. And it's the Northern Augustins #6 by Augustins DK, also known as Anne Sophie Velling. And it's just a simple colorwork yoke sweater. But when you look at the motif, it's only at the very top of. I feel like this colorwork motif is actually a lot shorter than a lot of like round yoke top down ones that I normally see. But you have so many cute motifs in here that look like little presents and little trees, and it's so pretty. It's so so pretty. And you've got the bows, and yeah, it's just absolutely screams Christmas. The only thing that bothers me about this is that the neckline looks like it's incredibly tight, at least on the designer. I don't know if the pattern just lacks, maybe it just doesn't have enough short rows or something, but I feel like that could easily be fixed. One thing I've noticed is that not every designer adds the raglan increases that you should have in a like a colorwork top down yoke, because that just gives it a much better fit. And since I don't have this pattern, I don't know if the pattern has that, but that's easily fixable. Once you're done with your color work, you can just do some wrangle. Once you're done with the yoke, I mean, right before you split for sleeves, you can just do some raglan increases, and that will give you a much better fit. This has, so it's from sizes A to H. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sizes, and it comes from a bust circumference. Okay, so it just gives you the what do you call it? What am I saying? I'm getting rusty. What is going on? Can I not talk? Okay, it's supposed to have a positive ease of 20 centimeters, and it goes from 100 to 170 centimeters. Oh my goodness, why was that so hard for me to say? Anyway, and this uses Korea Deluxe organic wool held together with the silk mohair. Now, one thing I noticed with this designer, every time I go on like her Ravelry page of all of her designs, it doesn't really tell you what the finished gauge is. In the yarn weight section, it doesn't tell you if it's a DK or worsted or whatever. It just says yarn held together in most of her patterns, and I find that a little bit frustrating because not everybody knows that if you hold fingering weight and lace weight together, it gives you a DK. But I guess that's something you just kind of have to figure out yourself. But when I look at um, the Ravelry page of the yarns, it says the Korea Deluxe Organic Wool is a sport weight. So it's a sport weight held with a mill head. So I guess it's kind of a DK weight. It's a gauge of 22 stitches by 32 rows, and it's knit on 4mm and 3.5mm needles. So everything is all of the ribbon is finished off with twisted or half twisted rib, I would imagine. But it's really pretty. It's definitely a sweater that I think screams Christmas, and this could be a really great gift knit. The only reason I have sort of been maybe not so keen on knitting sweaters that scream Christmas, that have all like the classic motifs and things like that, is that I would feel weird wearing it any other time. And so I will be thinking, okay, if I make this sweater, I can only wear it on Christmas Day, because I don't know, I think I would feel weird wearing it any other time of the year. So let's move on. Next up, this one I actually found years ago, and I thought, wow, that's stunning, but that would be a lot of floats to catch. But this is the Neigh sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I haven't knit anything by her before, but I know she's a really popular designer. And this is a DK weight knit. It's knit on 4mm and 3.75mm needles. And it's just, I mean, this is a masterpiece. So from the pattern description, it says that it is worked bottom up in the round, and you just have, horses. I mean, who doesn't love horses? I love horses, even though I'm like terrified of them, but who wouldn't want a sweater with this like 3D horse motif on it? It's just so beautiful. And what I was saying earlier is that I think this would be a little bit of a challenge to keep the tension right, just because of the amount of floats that you have to catch. And the pattern does say that the long floats are easily managed by catching them every few stitches or using the ladder back jacquard method. But so it's doable, and you can actually see that in her samples, the floats don't look that covered up. Like, you can still see the floats through it, like in the very center, in the space between both horses, you can see that the tension there is not the best. And I'm thinking it's probably because of maybe the color she chose or something. I don't really know. But yeah, so that's a little bit of an issue, but I feel like it's not so much that people would like really, really notice. It's just nobody's. I don't think anybody's gonna be staring at it so hard that they're gonna notice that. But anyway, this comes in sizes of 1 to 6. Finished bust of 37 to, is that 84 inches? Yeah, 37 to 84 inches. Wow, that's a lot of positive ease. And it's supposed to have 6 to 12 inches of ease. So I think she had mentioned something about the sizing. Yeah, she said because of the large charts that the pattern only comes in 6 sizes, but that it is inclusive for busts from 28 to 68 inches. The only thing is, I think if you are on the larger side, I would definitely recommend going down in size, just because a lot of the times, just having like somebody like me now, I would not, if something calls for 20 inches of positive ease, I am not gonna do 20 inches of positive ease. It just looks better on somebody with a larger bust when you go down a size. And that's something that took me a very long time to get, I because I it took me a really long time to understand that, oh, things actually look better when they are a little bit tighter fitting, or maybe not as oversized. So that's something to note with that. But this is, yeah, it's a masterpiece. I love the motif. I love how big the horse motif is, and then the very top is just like plain, and it's just beautiful. So that's the Neigh sweater. All right, next up. Ooh, I think this is this the one I wanted to knit last year? I have no idea. But anyway, this is the Lupin sweater by Hannah Rummen. And Hannah Rummen is a really popular Danish designer. So I don't think I've knit anything by her though, but I do. Wait, no, I have. I have knit something by her. It was a free pattern years ago. It was a Colorwork sweater. I can't remember the name of it now. But this one just looks like a bouquet of flowers, and that is what kind of drew me to it. And it almost it seems like, they're upside down. So you get the stem first, and then you go all the way down. It's so pretty. This uses ECR Speedy and ECR Silk Mohair. And here it says that it is a worsted weight gauge. So I'm guessing you hold 2 strands of spinny and 1 strand of mohair together. But it comes from a size of small to 3XL. So, but actually, that's only 1, 2, 3, 6 sizes. So there's no extra small, and I don't know what's up with this sizing. Hold on. Yeah, only 6 sizes. But anyway, it is knit top down, and the bust circumference is 100 to 137 centimeters. So spinny, I have used spinny before. It's definitely not, it's like a single ply yarn, so you definitely have to hold it double if you're gonna hold it with mohair. So, but it knits up beautifully. It's slightly rustic, and I don't think I've used it. Maybe I don't remember if I've used it for color work before, like a full color work knit. But yeah, it's a really, really stunning yarn. If you haven't had a chance to try it out yet, and it comes in like 300 meters or something per like 50 grams. So there's a lot of yardage in it. If I were to knit this, I would 100% go for this color combo, just because it's so stunning. This is the color combo that I'm thinking of doing for the new Knit sweater, that rosy sweater. It's got the bordeaux, and then you have like a grayish beige main color to it. So this, I think, could be really good for somebody who is an absolute beginner with color work, just because it's very classic, and you could be relatively done with the yoke in little to no time. And I think when it comes to like catching floats, you don't have to really worry so much about having a ton of floats until you get to like the very last section of the colorwork yoke. So I think this is actually perfect. And I love that I can immediately tell that there are, I'm not sure, it was there because in the photo where it's like hanging up, you can tell that the back is like way longer than the front. I like the little details there. There's like a pearl round before the ribbon on the neckline, before the ribbon on the body and the sleeves. It's it's beautiful. Now, the only thing I would change is the neckline. I think I'm not the biggest fan of like mock necks because it just feels like it's choking me. So I would 100% just go for like a folded neckline, or maybe just do like a few, maybe like an inch of ribbon and then just leave it like that and bind off. But yeah, this is the Lupin. It's very stunning. Very, very stunning. And there's tons of projects here. So I'm going to need to go back later and see what color combos speak to me. Okay, this is looking like a major contender for my Christmas sweater, because this is something I can wear not only for Christmas but like all throughout the winter, which is the whole point. Anyway, next up is the Lillehammer by MJ Wilms. This is very different from the other Lillehammer by Dalagan. This is, I think she just named it the same. And I think Lillehammer is the name of a place in Norway, right? It's not, I'm pretty sure it's the name of like a town or a city. I'm not 100% sure. But this one I've had on my mind and I've had saved ever since she started teasing the pattern. I actually found out about this designer from this pattern. I found out on Instagram very randomly, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about this. I actually had planned to use Gepard Puralana for this at some point, and I felt like maybe this needed a different type of yarn that maybe wasn't as fuzzy. But this is knit on a DK weight gauge on 4mm needles. It comes from a size of 1 to 9, and let's see the bust circumference, 41 to 73 inches, or 104 to 184 centimeters. This requires some steeking, so it's probably not the best thing for beginners to color work, but I feel like that's just relative. You know, if you want to knit something really bad, just there's really no point in stressing out about whether or not you can do a certain technique or not, just because there's there's tons of videos online for every single technique you could possibly want to do. But it is knit in the round, bottom up, and then you have to do you add the steek ridges for the sleeves and the neck, and then after cutting the steeks, you do the collar, and then you knit the sleeves top down. So that would be a really nice challenging knit. But I like this one because it's all over color work. It's just all over color work, two colors, and it looks, I look at this and I'm like, how did she come up with this? Because this is just insanely gorgeous. Insanely gorgeous. I want to look at the project pages. So there are tons and tons of projects with people who have done the same like navy blue cream motif, but there's also a lot of like dark browns and rust browns with like a cream. Yeah, and oh, look at this one. Wow. Wow. I like this hot pink one. Very, very nice. So really nice if you're looking for something that is a little bit more challenging and you want to try out steeking or whatever. I think the actual chart itself is not going to be that difficult to follow, and you're literally just working in the round all the way up until you have to cut and do the sleeves and the finishings and all of that. But this is a really, really nice sweater. She has two other sweaters that are, I think, worked the same way, but it's like all over color work, and one of them is kind of a similar motif to this one. But yeah, that's the Lillehammer. This next one, oh, this is the one I was thinking about a few years ago. I actually have the pattern for it, bought the pattern. I cast on in Lupin, and I don't know what happened. I think I just hated the way it looked because I was holding two strands of Let Loopy together instead of the recommended yarn, which is like Alafos Loopy. But it's the Wilderness Sweater by Lincoln Newman. I don't know how to pronounce the Norwegian version. Vilmaxtensoren? Wow, that was really bad. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce that. But this, from what I can remember, it is knit. What do you call it? It's knit bottom up, basically. And there is some color work at the very bottom, like right after you do the rib. And then I don't know if I've done any color work knit bottom up, but this one is simple. It's like a much easier knit, but it's way easier than this last one that I just talked about. It's way easier than the Lillehammer one. And I feel like because this is on a much bigger needle, this will literally fly up. Oh, there's somebody who, I think it was, did I say this on the first time on Inga's channel? I think so. Inga, Knitting Traditions. I'm pretty sure I saw this on her channel when I first started watching podcasts like years ago. And that's what made me want to knit this. Now, so it uses Alafos Loopy, which is the bulkier weight version of Let Loopy. It's on 6mm needles. And when I tell you there's tons and tons of color combinations on her website, dozens, because I think she sells kits. I don't know if she still does that, but she used to sell kits for this design where you could just, and she had like all the different samples already for you to see what it would look like. And there was a particular one that I saw. It was like a cobalt blue for the main color, and then you had the red and brown, and I don't know, maybe like a darker navy blue or something for the color work section. And that's the one I wanted to do. But for the longest time, I could not find all of the colors at the same time. Either one color was sold out and one of the other colors was in stock. So it just wasn't meant to be. But I desperately want to make this because this is like the ultimate winter snowy weather sweater to me. This could be really good for people who like to ski. I don't ski. I desperately want to learn, but it's one of those things where I feel like I'm going to be absolutely terrible at it. But this is the perfect winter sweater, and the fact that you could easily knit this in like a week, it just makes it all the more fun to me. And Lincoln Newman is known for a lot of sweaters like this. Like if you go on her page, it's tons and tons of sweaters of her like in the snow, and it's just, I love her aesthetic so much. There isn't a ton of information on here, but I'm just gonna give you the circumference. It's not very size inclusive, unfortunately. This comes in 5 sizes, small to 2XL, and it has, let's see, okay, bust circumference of 93 to 129 centimeters. I don't know if all of her patterns come in the same sizes, but I do think that the fact that, let me see, I'm trying to think how you could possibly make this bigger. Maybe cast on more stitches and then do the entire yoke, and then before you start the color work, maybe you can do some decreases for like the top of the bust. I don't know. Ugh, that would take some thinking. I don't know. I can't really think of it right now. I don't know if you guys can tell, but um, I don't know if I sound like myself, but I think I'm coming down with the flu. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I am actually, because I woke up like in the middle of the night last night, and I had what I feel like was definitely a fever. But I just had the flu shot last week, so who knows? Who knows? Anyway, next up is the actual Lillehammer sweater, which is the Lillehammer 1994 by Dolagon, and it's the Olympic sweater. I mean, I've talked about the sweater many, many times on here, but I felt like I needed to add it here because this is just one of my absolute dream knits, and I really hope it happens for me one day. I really hope I get to knit the sweater one day. And I was toying with the idea of doing like a cow for it, but I'm like, I don't know if anybody would join the cow, so it's I don't know. I mean, it would definitely motivate me to knit it and finish it, and maybe anyone else who has been thinking about doing it. But I think sometimes running a cow can be a little bit stressful. But in the pattern pages, I feel like the pictures they're okay, but um in the pattern page, because I do have this pattern in the English version, and it's a free pattern. I don't know if it's available on their available. I don't think it's available on their website. The English version is a little bit harder to come by, but I don't remember where I found it, but somehow I found it and I have all of their patterns. Now it's just a matter of actually casting on. So the yarn they use is Dalagan Hilo, but this yarn is has been discontinued for a really long time. It's a sport weight yarn. But now that I think about it, I think what's it called? Filcolana Pernilla would really be a good alternative for this, because I'm pretty sure that's also a sport weight yarn. But obviously, there's so many people who have knit this in like a worsted weight or DK weight. And when I go on Ravelry, the very first project, I actually think I'm gonna put this knitter's version on the screen, because this is the version that I want. Is she used Cascade 220? So let me look at it here. And the main color is red, and I think I've talked about that before, that I really want to make mine, because the initial version is, you know, black and white, and then you have all of the other colors like on the shoulders and the bottom of the, you know, ribbon and all of that. But I want the red version. That's the version that I imagine myself wearing. And so she used Cascade 220, and the main color she used ruby. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, color ruby. And then for the other colors, so the cream one is the color natural, and then she used hunter green, jet, and sunflower. And I feel like all of the other three colors, I think I have some random yarn that I can use for that. But I really, really want to make this in almost the exact colors she used. I think I may choose a different red. So I went online and I checked out Cascade 220, and they have this ruby red, which is a really nice red. But I'm really leaning towards the Christmas red color. So I don't know when this sweater is gonna happen. I just need to buy. I think once I buy the yarn, I can be like, okay, this is actually a possibility now, because once the yarn arrives, I would not be able to resist casting on. But I want to see, from what I can remember, because there are no pattern. There's no what do you call it on here? There's no description or anything like that. But based on the pattern, if I can remember when I was reading through it, it's knit the same way a lot of other like Norwegian colorwork sweaters are knit, where you just work, you know, you work it bottom up in the round, and then you do the steeking for the sleeves and the neckline. And I'm pretty sure it goes up to like an extra large, but that's easily fixable if you just knit in a bigger gauge. So like with mine now, I'm gonna knit mine, and it's meant to be oversized too. So if I'm doing Cascade 220, I'm probably gonna go down to like a size medium or something like that. So that is not that much of an issue. It's just finding the right yarn and figuring out the colors and actually doing the steeking. So I don't know if any of you is interested in joining me for a cow for like the winter. Maybe it could be fun. I don't know. Maybe that's something we could do for like the whole of the winter. Because you know it is a full colorwork sweater, so it's gonna take a while. So I just need to think if it's something that I want to take on. But let's move on to the next one. This is Northern Augustins #4, also by Augustins DK. And this is also what I would classify as, you know, an absolute Christmas sweater. You know, it just, You got the bows. I like this one because this, I think, could be great for beginners, but at the same time, there are a lot of floats to be caught here. And once again, I'm not totally in love with the neckline. I just don't like how, I just don't like mock necks. I don't like how high it sits. But this is heavy merino held together with silk mohair. So I want to say that's an airing weight gauge. So this also comes in a size of A to H and the circumference of 100 to 170 centimeters. And it just uses two colors. So you don't even have to use mohair for this. Just, pick a worsted or Aran weight yarn and you're good to go. So this is knit on 6mm and 5mm needles, which I don't think I've ever seen. I think if I were to make this, I would size down to a 5.5 because normally you want to do the color work section on like a bigger needle. But when I use heavy merino, I've done it on 5mm needles. And sometimes when I go up for like color work, I just like to go up one size instead of two because sometimes when you go up way too many sizes, then it looks too gapey and it just doesn't look smooth or neat. But it looks easy enough. So there isn't a lot to say about this one. I do think that her sample is the one that I love the most. Like, I like the beige with the red. I just think it looks best with the color work section in red because of the bows, I guess. I don't know. But when I look at the pattern, um, pages, there's another one that I I keep going back to, and she made hers in navy blue for the main color, and then cream for the um, the little bow colorwork section. I love that because from what I've seen, there's a lot of people who have had like tension issues with the colorwork section just because, when you have a lot of floats to catch, sometimes it's really difficult to hide the contrast color in, at the bottom or whatever, or behind it. What am I saying? Yeah, and sometimes it shows through, but I think using a darker main color can solve that. So you would not be able to, I don't know, because this just looks the neatest out of all the ones that I've seen. And it's so beautiful. And I love how big the little bows are. It's just, yeah, this version is really, really, really nice. I have three more patterns to go. This one is really popular. I feel like I've seen this all over the place. And it's the Holly Sweater by Pernille Lassen, which is the designer behind Knitting for Olive. This one looks very, very easy because it doesn't look like you're going to be doing the color work section for a very long time. This is very, very holiday appropriate. And it's knit in the merino and soft silk mohair held together, so it's a DK weight gauge. And it's knit on 4mm needles and comes from size of extra small to 4XL. And the finished bust is 95 to 149 centimeter or 37 to 58 inches. Yep, is that right? Yeah. And a lot of the photos here, everybody seems to have done it in the exact same colors that they have done it, which I totally understand that because I feel like when I look at this sweater, the main reason I would want to knit it is because I want to do it the exact same way the sample looks. So you have sort of like a grayish main color, and then you have for the colorwork section, you have the dark green, and then you have the red for the little berries or whatever. But it's really cute, really, really cute. All right, next. Oh, this one. I mean, come on. This is the Lumme Pullover by Sari Nordland. I have knit this before. Actually, I've knit two of these, but the first one that I knit, I didn't love it because I knit a different. I think I knit a size too small, and I just didn't love the yarn that I used. But I mean, this is a very popular sweater. I'm sure most of you have heard of this by now. It's top down colorwork yoke. She used Cascade 220 for her sample. What yarn did I use? I'm gonna put a picture of my version because I love my version so much. I mean, that's one of my favorite knits ever. But there are a few things that I would do differently if I were to knit it again. I don't know if I would knit it again, but I used Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. And then for the color work, I think I just used some random black yarn that I had. But it is a worsted weight gauge. It's knit on 4mm, 4.5, and 5mm. And it has a bust circumference of 80 to 160 centimeter or 31 to 63 inches. So that's size 1 to 9. Now there's so many. I mean, there's endless amount of inspiration on here. Because if you're having trouble, trying to figure out how to combine colors, because you don't have to do it in a 2-color version like she did or like I did. You can have 4 colors, 5 colors. There's just tons of different colors on here. And I think that's one thing I struggle the most with when it comes to color work knits, is that sometimes I have trouble like figuring out what colors I want to put together. So a lot of the times I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do 2 colors and just leave it at that. But yeah, there's just so many people who have done tons of different colors together, and it just looks stunning, absolutely stunning. Now, I do think that the pattern not having any like raglan increases is a bit of, I don't know, like from what I can remember from the pattern, I don't think it tells you to do raglan increases once you're done with the color work. I hope I'm remembering that correctly, because the fit of this around the armpits I just didn't love very much, which is why I don't wear it that often. So I think if I were to do this again, I would definitely add like more raglan shaping before splitting for sleeves and all of that. But I'm not 100% sure if it's that the pattern just didn't have any, or maybe just didn't have enough. That's what I can't remember. But I didn't love how it fit around the armpits. But it's just, I think this is really good for a beginner. And I like the way Sari Norton writes her patterns. So they're usually very straightforward. And the chart doesn't, yeah, the chart is not that difficult to follow. And there also aren't tons and tons of floats to catch, so which is always nice. So I like that about it. And let's see. So she looks like she recently did another sample, but she also used 2 colors for that one as well. And she also has a tea version of this, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's the Lumme. Very simple colorwork knit. The colorwork, there's also colorwork on the sleeves as well, but that's, you can always omit that. But I do think it completes the look really nicely. And I think just because I didn't really love the fit of the first one, I still would probably never get rid of that sweater, just because I think it's a masterpiece and I love it so much. But because of the fit, I don't know if I would knit another one. So just something to note. Okay, guys, so the very last pattern, this is what I would classify out of all of the patterns that I've been talking about. I think this one looks the most like the absolute Christmas sweater. I feel like I'm running out of words. I don't know what's wrong with my vocabulary today, because I don't know how many times I can say that. But it's just called the Christmas sweater. I mean, what else is there to say about it? It's the Christmas sweater. It's by Sander's Gun, and it's a free pattern. So that's always nice, because sometimes the patterns are not very easy to come by. So right now it's a Ravelry in English, Norwegian, and German. I have to go and download that immediately, actually. But there's 2 versions. So let me just make sure that the other version is also free. I don't think the other version is free on Ravelry. Maybe it's free online somewhere. But the one The one I'm going to talk about is the free version, which is the DK version. The other version is knit in Timpergint, and this one is knit in the alpaca yarn, which is a DK weight yarn. So it comes in 4 sizes, and that's extra small to 2XL. And I think all of their patterns end at 2XL. I don't think I've ever seen a Sandnes pattern that um, goes up to 5XL. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. But it's a bust circumference of 87 to 120 centimeters, and there's just tons of different yarns you can use for this. So there are people who have used drops Lima, drops Nord, Knit Picks, what else did I see? Drops Alpaca, drops Cotton Light. I mean, as long as you can find all of these colors, then you're good to go. So it's a really really stunning sweater. I really like it, but I think just because of how I think because of how Christmassy it looks, I'm probably not gonna knit that for myself. But I still would like to have this pattern, so I gotta save that really soon. So it's knit on 3.5 and 3mm needles. And what else can I say about it? This, if you want a sweater that screams Christmas and the holiday season, then this is the one for you. There isn't a lot of information about the way this is constructed, but to me it looks like it's a raglan. So I'm gonna guess that it is knit top down. Don't quote me on that. If you go online on Ravelry and read through the pattern, let me know how it goes. But yeah, it's really really stunning. It's so cute. I don't know why I'm just sitting here staring at it. But yeah, it is knit bottom up, and it's a raglan, and it's knit in the round. So there you go. There's really not much to say about it except for that. There will be probably a lot of floats to catch though, but I can't even imagine knitting it in any other color combo except for this, because this is what you would want. I can't imagine wanting it in any other color combo than the actual sample. And I like that it is a free pattern. So that would be, I haven't knit any Sandnes pattern yet, so I don't know how their pattern writing is or anything like that. So if any of you end up knitting this, let me know how it goes. Maybe that could be something I knit in another few years or something, but it's definitely not something I'm gonna knit this year. But that's everything. Wow. I don't know. I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent towards the end, so I'm definitely gonna have to edit that out because I felt like I was rambling. I don't know, I was just talking nonsense. But that's everything. I feel like we've been talking long enough. I will try and see if, I don't know, if I feel like, I don't know, filming a podcast really soon, because like I said, things have been really slow on the knitting front for me, just because I'm just trying to take things easy uh towards the end of the year, which is not the norm for me. Normally at this time I'm like, oh, I gotta knit this and finish things up. Now I'm just like, I can't be bothered. And it's not because I've lost my knitting mojo. I'm just not feeling super excited about knitting. Does that mean I've lost my knitting mojo? I don't know, maybe. I'm just not in the mood. So hopefully I can come back with another episode before the end of October. I hope. It's definitely not going to be before the end of September, but I will leave all of my links down below. Also, I was thinking of doing a little giveaway. I feel like I should have mentioned that in the beginning. But if there's any of these patterns that I've mentioned today that you're interested in, let me know down in the comments which of these you're most likely to knit. Well, except for the free ones. There's like 2 of them that are free patterns, and I would really love to gift 2 people one of these patterns. So let me know in the comments, and then in my next video I will announce the 2 winners. So yeah, if there's any of these patterns that speak out to you and you want to knit, let me know down in the comments below. And there's really there are no rules. Just make sure you're following my channel. That's it. And let me know what pattern you want in it. And I will come back soon and announce the winners and hopefully come back with a podcast. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.